everyone, and welcome to Star Pulse. This is a new offering by Ricky and me, and we are going to do a take on the cosmic weather and give you regular updates, which hopefully you will find useful in your day-to-day life. I'm, I'm Danish Norwegian. I'm based in Switzerland, and I work as an astrologer over here.
And I'm Ricky. I'm an evolutionary astrologer from the States, and I'm super excited to be here and do this with you and be able to share some wisdom and insight about the astrology transits and what's going on.
Yeah, especially we're going to talk about a big one today. This is a 12-year cycle with Jupiter entering into the sign of Cancer.
Yes.
So we will tell you a little bit about how the expansive planet, when that hits the nurturing sign of Cancer, what kind of fusion that might create for you personally in your chart.
Yeah.
We will just go through a few themes for you. And if we take, so when we think about Jupiter, we often think about optimism and expansion and being bold and doing things the big way and have a bit more confidence or something. For sure, it will bring a need for change and to do something different. There is just this fiery drive within it. And when you think about Cancer, you think about family values, you think about your roots, about feeling secure. So all of those things are expanded, meaning they are, they put an extra focus on it, and it means you feel even more need for that security, for healing those family wounds, maybe even remodeling your house, renovating, maybe moving to something bigger. You want change.
Yeah. I feel that's, with Jupiter coming into Cancer, I feel we're going to at an individual level and at a collective level, we're going to feel the shift happen. And for those of you that want to keep track of it, Jupiter enters Cancer June 9th at 5:02 p.m. Eastern Time, 2:02 p.m. Pacific Time, and I believe in Europe it's actually on the 10th. I think you were saying, Charlotte.
Yeah, it's on the 10th.
So this is when we're going to start to feel the energies change from Jupiter in Gemini to Jupiter in Cancer. And what I always like to say with Jupiter is Jupiter comes into our life and can magnify or shine a light for us as far as what we are currently going to expand upon in our life. Now, I always like to say with Jupiter, because today there's a lot of sensation around Jupiter. It's almost like we get excited with Jupiter. And I always like to say that we want to be cautious with Jupiter. Because what happens is when we wear those rose-colored glasses, sometimes it's not what we're actually expecting or anticipating that Jupiter brings. This transit in particular could bring up a lot of those internal emotional dilemmas that exist within us, emotional traumas, emotional attachments that we have to our past or our childhood or the family, like you said. Sometimes this can even be unconscious from past lives that are going to be resurfacing from us that are affecting us in this moment right now, tied to our emotional body. One of my favorite quotes comes from Jeffrey Wolf Green, and he says that the emotional body is the gateway to the soul. And understanding how important our emotional body is and how it affects and constitutes our everyday actions, I think is super important, because people's sense of safety and security influences how they make decisions on a day-to-day basis. It reflects truly how you are with your finances, for an example. It's going to reflect how you show up in relationships. It's going to affect your ability to take action and show up in the world. If you don't feel safe in your own body, it's going to be very difficult for someone to take action or do something. And Jupiter entering Cancer could be that flashlight to reevaluate what is challenging me. Where do I feel insecure? Where do I feel like I don't belong? Why don't I feel like I belong in my own body? So there's something about this that feels like if Jupiter represents the journey and Cancer represents the home, this is a journey to go home. This is a journey to come back home to yourself. And so at one level for me, this is going to be an incredibly emotional journey for many people. I think we're going to notice a huge theme tied to family values, like you were saying. I would be interested to see like what the music industry looks like. Let's see what movies look like. Let's see if we're noticing themes tied towards family. I noticed like as Jupiter's getting ready to enter Cancer, Lilo and Stitch just came out in the movie theaters, the live action film, which is all about family. It's the concept of family, what family means.
But also each of us can maybe feel into and notice changes in things that suddenly becomes very important for us, or that we suddenly are more focused on than before. And don't forget, or we don't forget, that Jupiter is part of a 12-year cycle. And I like to go back and think about, where is there any coherence? Is there any red thread that's going through here? So I had a little look. So the last few times that we had Jupiter going into Cancer was in 2001 and 2002.
Yeah.
And the next one was 2013 and 2014. And for me personally, that was a big focus on family, because I got married in 2001. And in 2002, I had my first child, who now actually has in his natal chart, he has Jupiter and Cancer. And so that was a big life change. I mean, one of the biggest things that happened to you in life, get married and have a child. So that was a big expansion on my family. I don't know if you have any stories of any of these periods where something big happened for you as well in that area.
So I have Cancer tied to relationship themes for me. And I could say that back in 2013, I was getting into what then would become a very difficult relationship. And this is an example that Jupiter is not always about bringing you all of the positive things that you want. It's going to bring you what you need and where your points of attraction really is. And it was something where it gave me the opportunity to actually become aware of different themes tied to the past. The other thing about Jupiter and Cancer that I was just thinking about as you said this, to the life cycles of this all, but also the themes of Jupiter entering Cancer, is what we also want to be careful of with this transit is that it could bring up our ability to cling to things. Cancer does not like letting go of the past. Cancer likes to cling to the past, wants to hold on to things because it makes it feel safe and secure. What's happening is as the North Node is in Pisces right now and Jupiter's entering Cancer, how can you be comfortable with the unknown if you don't feel safe and secure within yourself? So there can be these themes that are showing up, and this is something that happened for me in 2013, is what was I holding on to from the past? Where was I feeling different dependency patterns that were coming up? Because Cancer can be very codependent. And so all of these themes can show up for us. And I can say that where Cancer falls in my chart, I saw the energy manifest. Now, I didn't know about Jupiter entering Cancer, 12 years ago. But now looking back, I was aware of what was happening. And I was like, oh, this is not healthy. This is toxic. I don't want this. This is not something I want. So the relationship didn't last that long, but I look back at it and it was one that changed me forever.
Yeah, so this is a very good point you're saying about Jupiter, which is expanding. So it expands, so we get the message clear and loud, right?
Yeah.
And it's also true what you say about holding on to things with Cancer. So Cancer falls in my second house, so that's all about values and feeling secure within myself, and also materialistic security, which is a part of Cancer. And that was definitely something that I felt at that point. And it was something I needed, but I can also see going into a marriage of holding on to things, you bring back patterns that really needs to shift. And being married, you get that big flag,
100%. And that's how I always say that marriage, there's such I want to use this word loosely because I know some people are going to be like, but karmic dynamics show up very strong in marriages and relationships. And marriage and children are one of the crucial areas where we could see karma just being born and unfolding between two people, then three people, or however many children two people choose to have. So I think having that, we're going to talk about Jupiter in the houses and Cancer and how this could show up for you. Um, you know, One of the other things, but we're not going to get too much into the mundane side of the astrology with Jupiter and Cancer, which means sort of the national, global influences of this. But what I would just say is that Jupiter and Cancer can cause us at a societal level, people are going to view things differently. Jupiter has a lot to do with our perspectives. So we want to see what is the perspective, what is the belief systems that are being shared, and how are people potentially being conditioned in a specific way, and what are our beliefs, what are our values, are we one big happy family, or are we just distraught and we're falling apart? And so there's something to this with Jupiter entering Cancer that's important to recognize that in our own individual lives, this is all about family stuff. Like you were saying, your roots and your family ties. There could be a lot of family healing that wants to happen here, especially tied to emotions,
Mhm.
which has a lot to do with the divine feminine energy, our relationships with the divine feminine in our family. How does this tie to, feminine energy, the female, the mother?
Mhm.
What's going on here? Just like you having children is one way in which we are going to attempt to heal
Mhm.
emotional pain, hurts, or traumas. So one
Yeah.
of the questions, I wrote 3 questions down to
Mhm.
feel into this energy. One of them is, what karmic ties to my family or to my tribe am I here to heal right now? What am I trying to heal right now in this moment when it comes to family? And if you can't answer that question yet, you will be able to answer that question. And I would just wait a little bit because, again, Jupiter is entering Cancer. Actually, as we're filming this today on the 9th, Jupiter will be entering Cancer today in the States. Um, and so, one of the second questions I would say is, where have you sought external security for inner emotional insecurity? And oftentimes within Cancer, we think that the environment is going to make us feel safe and secure. We think that our home or the whatever it may be, that's going to make us feel that cozy energy. But what happens if that gets taken away? What happens if that's no longer there? It's going to create the crab out of its shell. It's like, I don't know what to do. And so there's something about this, about learning to appreciate and find deeper love for the vessel that you were given. And so measuring how you could be projecting, your sense of security externally and emotionally on others. Um, I would think about that. That's a big, big, big thing. And look at where Cancer falls in your chart.
I
And you
also
could,
to what you said, I think is very important, is also sometimes people don't have that family,
yeah,
that they long for. So it also reminds us, where do we belong? We
yeah,
belong with ourselves. And Jupiter is also about religion and belief system. And sometimes where we feel home is if we are connected with those bigger belief systems, something bigger than us. And
yeah,
sometimes belonging can also be with certain groups,
totally.
certain like-minded people. So even if I don't have a family of our own, we can still feel that belonging. And
To
that's
some,
also important to think about.
totally. A soul
Um,
tribe.
Absolutely, soul tribe.
Yeah. Uh,
What do you
Good one.
say we go through the houses?
Let's do it.
And for anyone listening, think about in your own chart, where is Cancer falling in which house? This is where Jupiter's going to come in and put a big spotlight, you know, glamorize it,
Yeah.
maybe, expand it and focus on it. So let's give a quick rundown.
Yes.
So if you have Cancer in your first house, this might be a time where you just feel more confident in going out there in the world and express who you are. You might be more, accessing more easily your emotional inner world and bring it out more with
Yeah.
Jupiter. And you might be a bit more bold. Maybe this is where you pick up the courage to go and invite somebody out on a date, because you're bringing yourself to this and you say, I can do this.
Yeah.
And, that's one little way to think about it in the first house.
Totally. And on my note that I made for Jupiter transiting your first house right now, if you are not feeling confident, if you're not feeling attractive, if you're not feeling like you're able to go out into the world because there's a part of you that's been hiding, um, Jupiter in the first house will bring a flashlight on this for you, which could be manifesting opportunities for you to show up more in the world.
Mhm.
And through gradual steps, you start to feel more confident in your body, in yourself. This is a huge chapter of self love, um, of appreciating you, and sharing your caring energy with the world because it's needed. Um, so, this is something where I would say if you're feeling that sort of lack, this is a great, great transit for you. That'll help give you some oomph. Um, and so definitely good energy with Jupiter in the first house. Um,
Absolutely. And if you're
with
seeking funding or if you have a project you want to convince somebody to support you in, this might be
Yeah,
a really good time to go out and outline the vision and do it with a personal touch.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. With Jupiter transiting your second house, if you have Cancer in your second house, Jupiter and you're transiting your second house. Um, at one layer, I put here that this is a chapter of exploring your relationship with your sense of security and self-worth, but also your relationship with the material in the physical world. What do your finances look like right now? Are you overly dependent on your finances right now? Are you feeling a lack of financial security and stability right now? This is about a chapter of developing a deeper sense of inner stability and inner security, and really channeling that energy inward. As a result of the more secure and higher self-worth you feel in yourself, you'll notice that opportunities seem to unfold for you where it can actually enrich and enliven your finances, the material world around you. Things could feel really, really good, um, to the extent of how good you feel inside of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if Jupiter enters your third house is also about siblings and talking
Yeah.
about family values. This might be a good time to maybe heal relationships with your siblings, or even just improve on them and try and bring your authentic you
Totally.
to that relationship. It's also a time where you get a little wind in the back when it comes to expressing yourself and communication skills and connecting with other people. You might be able to write better with more emotion. This is Cancer coming through, and Jupiter is the big pen, draw up the big plans for you in how you connect with other people through communication.
Yeah. Write that children's book, right? Write that children's book. Um,
Exactly.
Now, Jupiter transiting your fourth house, or if you have Cancer in the fourth house, this is like a double whammy because
Right.
Cancer naturally rules the fourth house, and Jupiter's coming into this area of your chart. Your fourth house has a lot to do with not only your sense of home, your family, your roots, ancestry, all of that. It's also your inner landscape, your inner foundation, your sense of inner emotional security. I call it the most sensitive space of our chart. It is so sensitive, it is so tender, it is so squishy. And so when Jupiter comes into this area of your chart, you're going to notice that these are going to be themes that are amplified right now in your life. There may be a lot going on when it comes to family dynamics. This may be something you want to pay close attention to, your relationship with your mother, grandmother, and or any if grandma, great grandma, anything like this.
Mhm.
Conversations about family things that are happening right now. What's unfolding is within Jupiter in the fourth house, that healing energy that can be highlighted can be towards um, anything from the early emotional life. If there was any wounds that could have been drawn, this is going to be an opportunity to heal this. Now, what I'd also just add to this could be an amazing opportunity as well for moving. This could lead or pave way towards moves or changes to the physical home. um, this is going to be a chapter where family dynamics could be loud. It's a great time to do some like emotional nourishment and nourishing your emotional self. If you need a break, if you want to kind of take care of yourself and be home, do it. Um, And I'd also just say this could also be, what does home look like to you? This could be a change. Maybe it's time for me to go somewhere new, or could be expanding the home. Like, are you bringing in a child? Are we noticing a child coming into the picture? Or is this something where during Jupiter in the fourth house, are you looking at wanting to bring, a dog or a baby into this world? So those are all themes that I could see with Jupiter transiting the fourth house with Cancer.
All right, so fifth house, the fun house, the joyful house, creativity, self-expression. You might feel a need to join a theater group, or be creative with a brush, or in other ways just express yourself more authentically, more openly, more daring, with more confidence. It might also be the time where you focus on romance. And if you are in a relationship, it might be the time where you want to be more playful, you want to do fun things, weekend getaway, pay attention to your partner. And if you're not in a relationship and would like to be in one, maybe this is time where you be more active on the dating life, or you manifest your next partner, or
Yeah.
or whatever it can be. You focus on love and you think about what you look for in love. You think about how this could be a different relationship, nurturing relationship, but it's also a relationship you might attract where you feel you are expanding as a human being. You learn and you grow through your
Yeah.
partner. These might be things that might come up and you can take advantage of during this time.
Yeah, definitely. If you have Jupiter transiting your sixth house, if you have Cancer in the sixth house, this at one layer is a big health transit with Jupiter in the sixth house. This could be a chapter for us to really evaluate and prioritize our health routines, especially tied to the emotional health. This could be a huge theme for us because we want to feel safe, we want to feel supported, and we want to feel aligned. I always say sixth house: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. Having this in Cancer, there's an extra emphasis on the emotional stuff here. This could be a chapter of focusing on what your day-to-day life looks like, what your routines are looking like. This could be an opportunity to get those back into alignment with what feels emotionally supportive for you. And there may be some changes and adjustments at work as well, especially the people that you're working with. So that may be also something you want to pay close attention to with Jupiter in this part of your chart.
Yeah. So if you have Jupiter going through your seventh house, it means it makes an opposition to your ascending sign, which is very interesting because traditionally the seventh house is about partnership. It's about the other. It's about the mirror you see reflected back on yourself. This is why we are growing and learning so much about ourselves through relationship and partnership. And when I say partnership, I don't only mean marriage or romantic ones, but also partnership like business partnerships that you
Totally.
might enter into. And with Jupiter also shining a light on your ascending sign, this is a very personal spot as well. This might be a time where you want to do some self-improvement, or where you have to do some extra effort to put yourself out there and give you that confidence, a little bit that we talked about in the first house as well. And you might be inclined to do that through another that inspire you. Inspires you.
It could be a great relationship cycle for you. Could be a very expansive relationship cycle, and
Exactly.
that relationship could be a teacher for you, a big lesson.
Yeah.
The eighth house, we have Jupiter transiting the eighth house. If you have Jupiter transiting your eighth house, or Jupiter in Cancer in the eighth house over here, this is definitely the definition of change and transformation that will be unfolding. This is going to be a huge chapter about, for the next year, tied to emotional vulnerability, trusting, attachment wounds that may be surfacing, and really trying to create enough, feeling safe and secure enough in your body where you feel safe enough to share with others, to be with others and allow yourself to be emotionally open and vulnerable with others. And so this could be a chapter where there's experiences or storylines that are going to encourage and support you to trust and open up with others. At the same token, this could be a chapter where I pay close attention to what's happening with other people's money, what's around you right now. I often find with Jupiter transiting the eighth house is a good time if people had investments, or if someone had passed away tied to estates or wills or something like this, or something that Jupiter in the eighth house has a unique way, especially tied to family stuff is big here. Or the mother. Um, doesn't always have to be the mother, but I often find that with Cancer energy. So big change time for Jupiter in the eighth house, transiting the eighth house.
So ninth house, here we come back to Jupiter and belief system and Cancer belonging. So this might be about you finding a place to belong through your faith, through like-minded people, the soul tribe you talked about. So this might literally be a time where you want to travel and create a home in a new place, you know, abroad, and you come and put your roots down somewhere else to see if you it could be for work, that you need to travel for work, or it can be simply that you can study abroad, or there's something calling you to get a new experience through travel, even
Yeah.
holiday. And you know how it is with, sometimes we know we feel so much at home in one place, and in other place we feel completely out of whack. And this might be a time where you need to create that belonging to different parts of the world through traveling and expanding.
Yeah, totally. I love Jupiter in the ninth house. This is Jupiter's
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Honor your intuition if you have this transit. Honor that intuition. Jupiter in the 10th. If you have Jupiter in Cancer transiting your 10th, this is going to be a huge opportunity or experience tied to your career, how you are showing up in the world, your sense of being seen in the public. This could be tied towards your legacy. This is tied to your sense of authority in this world. And if you have Cancer at this part of your chart, it's really important for these individuals to feel like they are living an emotionally fulfilling life, and they're doing something that gives them that emotional fulfillment. So having Jupiter at this part of your chart could bring you the answers towards more deep emotional fulfillment in your work and your career. It's a huge chapter of developing authority. This could be moving up in the ladder. This could be launching a business. All of that is definitely possible with Jupiter transiting the 10th.
Yeah, very exciting times when I had some get ahead in the career.
Yeah.
And so for the 11th house, it continues a little bit this thing about where we belong. And sometimes we don't always belong in our original family as such. We create a new family through friends groups. And again, with people who are believing in the same things that also at least have alignment in our values. And 11th house can also be where you want to expand yourself, because of Jupiter, you want to learn new things and you want to open your mind. Let's say you have some certain political views, or whatever it can be, and you might be ready during this time to enlarge your knowledge and your understanding of the world. You might dig into philosophy or something else and just have a bigger understanding of the world. And you might even feel inclined to join some charities or something you really believe in, and make a difference.
Yeah.
That you lift in a group towards a common goal, whether that's global warming, whatever it is that affects you deeply emotionally. This might be something where you see, I want to take myself and contribute something personally for the good of many, for the good of all of us.
I love that. I'm excited for these people.
Yeah.
If you have Jupiter transiting your 11th. And then last but not least, we have Jupiter and Cancer transiting the 12th. This is the culmination of the experience. This is, for me, some of the things that I was thinking about with this feels like will be a chapter where we may go through some emotional purging or emotional releasing. There may be some themes for these individuals tied towards surrendering, towards letting something go, that we may be emotionally holding on to. Going back to Cancer, having a difficult time letting go of the past. This could be an experience for some individuals where they may be faced with needing to surrender and let go of something from their past. This may be also a chapter of immense emotional healing for someone. I would be, from an evolutionary perspective in the 12th house, this is a great cycle for you to be working with your angels, to be working with your guides, to be developing a deeper, more unconditional, loving relationship with whatever that higher power is to you. And that may require letting some things go in order to make room. You know, in relationship to this one, I just had a quote that I wrote is I once heard a Swami from India say that when God removes something or someone from your life, it's to make more room for that in your life, to make more room for God or the universe or source. And that may happen with Jupiter in the 12th.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And then, this sums it up with the 12 houses.
Yes.
But another
Yes.
thing that is happening, so this is happening the 9th and the 10th of June.
Yes.
And already on the 11th, we have Jupiter that's going to be a full moon in Sagittarius. And this is on the 11th. So there's a lot of focus on Jupiter right now. And hopefully this will be a very exciting new chapter of everybody's life. And especially if you tune into just the emotional side of things, or open yourself to these changes coming in, and note the little symbolism. I love that little symbolism that happened to us, where we can tie it all in, because these are the little hints from the universe, I feel, from the stars to guide us to see what is it you're going to learn this time, what is the growth, where's the growth coming from this time. So
definitely. And we're gonna create more content as time progresses with Jupiter, because Jupiter is going to be making some aspects to our cardinal signs. So we want to pay close attention to what these transits are asking of us, because it'll definitely be a felt energy. And the other thing I just want to add into that is what's super important for me about that full moon is the moon is now the ruler of Jupiter in Cancer, because the moon rules Cancer. And that full moon will be in Sagittarius, which Sagittarius rules Jupiter. So there's a lot of Jupiterian energy coming into this full moon. So a lot of these themes that we're discussing as we are coming into Jupiter entering Cancer can be very much illuminated, bright, and in our face, could be shown to us. Now, one of the things that I always say with these types of experiences, especially Sagittarius energy, is be honest with yourself. Make sure you're very honest with yourself, because Jupiter, getting all of this energy, could put those rose-colored glasses on and think that it's being honest with itself, but it's not being realistic. And realism is one of the transits that Jupiter is going to have to experience in the coming weeks, which Charlotte and I will talk about in the coming days. So
thank you,
I love
everybody, for joining us here on Pulse.
Thank you.
Stay aligned, stay inspired, and come and meet us again if you found this was useful for you.
Yes. Thank you, Charlotte. I appreciate you.
Next time. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.